Hi, explorers. I'm Marissa Malley, and I just got back from an expedition cruise with Atlas Ocean Voyages to Iceland and Greenland. I am here with Logan from Atlas, and he's going to tell us a little bit more about the different experiences that Atlas can curate for you adventurous explorers who are looking for a small ship, intimate cruising experience.
Absolutely. Well, I'm happy to be here today, so thank you for having me. My name is Logan Steele. I am the Southeast rep for Atlas Ocean Voyages, and I'm excited to let you know a little bit more about our product and happy to eventually have you on board.
I do
Oh,
love the purple.
yes, absolutely. As far as expedition goes, we are currently the only year-round luxury expedition cruise line. So what we mean by that is we sail from pole to pole. We sail all the way down from Antarctica up to Svalbard. We have itineraries in Greenland, Iceland, Northern Europe, British Isles, the Norwegian fjords, Mediterranean, Caribbean, South America. All three of our yachts sail to all of our destinations, so they all are built for that type of expedition sailing as well. We currently have three different types of expeditions that we sail through the year. So polar expedition is going to be what everyone thinks in their mind. That's going to be the Arctic, Antarctica, the penguins, the polar bears, the zodiac safaris, expedition landings. We've been doing that successfully since 2021, I believe. We started in 2019, took a pause in 2020, started back up in 2021. That is going to be what everybody thinks bread and butter expedition wise. Now, we also have a little bit of a different twist on expedition when it comes to Northern Europe, Iceland, British Isles. We do cultural expeditions. So that's going to be a little bit of a mix between the expedition style excursions, but still immersing yourself in that local culture. So that is going to be bringing some local dance groups on board, folk groups, music groups, trying local food, providing that for the guests. And then for our Epicurean expeditions, those are going to be in the Mediterranean, primarily in the June to October summer months. That is going to be Epicurean focused with a gastronomic guest on board for specific voyages, whether that's a ex-top chef or celebrity chef, and then also during your voyage, the different ports that you stop into, we will bring local vintners on to the ports that we can bring them
Nice.
on, and they will talk to the specificity of the wine that you're tasting, the regions that the grapes are from. And it's really nice because if you have questions that you want answered and you are interested in these types of things, because it's so intimate, you're able to really talk face to face, person to person with these experts. And that is all included in the voyage as well. So, speaking about our yachts and being intimate, it is a yacht style of cruising. We do currently have three yachts, and they were all built in the last 6 years. So new finishings as well as new stabilizers for the Drake Passage for those who are afraid of the rocky waters. And they all have different themes. So the World Navigator was our first yacht. That one is a 1940s kind of very royal luxury fit. Then the World Traveler is more of a modern luxury fit. That was our second yacht to come out. And then the World Voyager, our newest yacht, is a Baltic, Northern Europe luxury style on board. There are suites and staterooms on board. We have 100 that fits about a maximum occupancy of 196 guests. So when we say intimate, we mean intimate.
It is intimate,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is really our sweet spot. We love the product that we provide for our guests. We think that we're able to keep a great attentiveness. Our crew and staff to guest ratio is 1 to 1, which is really important when it comes to service on board.
Yeah, I was on the Voyager and everyone, the room attendants, bartenders in the dining room, everyone was amazing. Like
Good. That's
just
great to
so
hear.
they would remember your drink orders because we only had 162 people on our
Yeah.
voyage, I think. So it was even
Hmm.
smaller than normal. So it was really nice having kind of that kind of relationship with the other guests as well as like the crew. And they really created such a great experience. It was a joy kind of seeing the same people and like they would know your drink order, they would know how you take your coffee and things like that. That was nice.
Right. And that's important in service, right? The elevated places that hotels that you go to, Ritz-Carlton, Waldorf Astoria, these different areas, they remember you. They remember it's personalized service. They know exactly what you want. So we try and also get to that level so that we can give you a good experience on board. Hopefully that gave everyone a little bit of time to read what's always included by Atlas on board. So we do have what's going to be included on most luxury voyages, right? That 24-hour room service, the 24-hour bar service, the gratuity is already included. And then, especially when you're in Antarctica, you have the parka, you have the detachable vest underneath. Those you can actually take home with you and keep as well. We provide boots for you. We provide walking sticks and binoculars for you. So you don't have to pack all of those things and worry about that when you're on the ice. Then on top of that, if you're in a suite, we do have butler service that is included for your suites as well. And then different coffees, juices, everything in your mini bar, that is all going to be included. So you don't have to worry about being nickel and dimed if you take a water out of the fridge for more than 30 seconds. So yes, so that is included, and the food on board as well. Now, as far as market position with Antarctica when it comes to polar expeditions, there's a lot of different lines up here, and what we were talking about a little bit earlier, what makes Atlas unique. Now that there are more people going to Antarctica, I think something that makes us the most unique, it's going to be a couple different points, but the first point is the size of our ship, right? We actually max out in Antarctica at 175 guests. That's max on board.
Mhm.
There's the law in Antarctica that to protect the wildlife, you can't have more than 100 people from your vessel on the ice at once. So between expedition landings, the polar plunge, zodiac safaris, and any excursions that are going on, 175 seems to be the perfect number that everybody can go and do what they want to do. Weather permitting, we do guarantee 2 expedition landings per day. So that's a lot of time on the ice, a lot of time to do activities when you're in Antarctica. I know some brands are so big. I don't quote me, but I believe if you're sailing with over 500 guests, you actually can't get off of the yacht at all.
I
Um,
believe so, yeah.
so, it's you have to be careful when you're picking your Antarctica trip, just because no one wants to fly all the way to Ushuaia and then go through the Drake Passage to not step foot on the ice. That's the whole point.
Just wave at Antarctica
Right.
from the ship.
Exactly. Yeah. So we think that that's something that makes us really unique. Another thing that I think makes us unique is we pick a great expedition team. They're very knowledgeable. They know all about the wildlife. They give lectures on board as well as guiding you through when you're on the ice and doing your excursions. And our captain is phenomenal with our ships. Now our ships are gonna be another thing that's pretty unique. A lot of the ships going to Antarctica are older or they have been refurbished in the past 10 years. Ours are newer and built, like I mentioned before, in the past 6 years, brand new. So those stabilizers are fantastic. There's actually a video online of our going through the Drake Passage, and there's a cup of ice on the water table, and it's not shaking or moving at all. So you can see the waves in the window, and
Nice.
the cup is just fine, which is great when you're on board. Um, and then I would say, besides that, something that's always going to be important to guests is price point, right? That's something that we really pride ourselves on. We're able to produce a great product with having a very fair market price point for Antarctica. Obviously, Antarctica can get pricey, but we do include a pre-night stay hotel in Buenos Aires. We include transfers over to a chartered 737 plane that will take you to Ushuaia. And then we also do fly you directly from Ushuaia back into Buenos Aires after the trip is done. That's all included in the price. Um, so yes, I would say the last most unique thing about us are most brands, if you're doing your research, when you're looking up Antarctica, are going to be very expedition focused because Antarctica is extremely expedition focused. But
Mhm.
when you get back on the ship, it's not as luxurious. The rooms aren't as nice, the suites aren't as nice, the food's not as good, not everything's included, there's not as nice of a spa. People care about that. And I think what makes us unique is that when you get back on the ship, you don't feel like you're on this giant industrial ship. You're on a really nice, warm feeling, great looking yacht. And we're also not stuffy luxury. So no one wants to get out of a parka, out of a vest, wet boots, and then go put on a suit and go to dinner, right? You can
Mhm.
wear jeans on board, you can wear joggers on board, you can wear a jacket on board. It's really not um, stuffy at all, and we're not going to ever tell anyone to pay X amount of money and then tell them how they're going to dress on board, right? We want you to
Yeah.
enjoy we want you to enjoy your trip. You know, we want to make it as enjoyable for you without the user experience and them having a great time. It's none of this even matters, you know. So
Mhm.
we are very, very happy about that. I would say that's what makes us stand out from other brands when you're in Antarctica specifically. And then as far as one of the other kind of big ones we saw this year, that would be the Epicurean. There was a huge push in the Mediterranean for us. We saw a lot more multi-generational families as well as honeymooners. Um, I was personally just at a conference and they had talked about how for the first time in a long time, data is showing that uh, Gen X, Gen Z, younger people are positioning and putting value into trips and experiences more than things and goods. So watches, TVs, cars. For the first time in a long time, people are getting back to being, you know, that vacation is the most important investment that they make that year. So that's great for us to hear. And especially paired with that, there's also a big projection for um, not only smaller ship endeavors and cruise lines, but also expedition cruise lines. Expedition sailing is projected to exponentially increase as well. So we're really happy to know that not only people are interested in trips, but they're also interested in taking those trips on smaller ships that are more luxury, that also do expedition. Because I think post-COVID, a lot of people are starting to gear away or kind of turn away from that big 6,000, 7,000 person model. If you have
Yeah.
kids and you're going on the Disney cruise, right, that's completely different. But if you're an empty nester, or if you want to go on a honeymoon, or if you're just doing something for you, a lot of times now, especially in the last 4 years, people don't want to share that with someone else. They don't want to share that experience with 6,000 other people. They want it to be intimate. Um, so that's another thing that I think makes us unique as well, especially in the Mediterranean. So, for example, we just had an itinerary this year in the Mediterranean season because it's September now, so we're about to phase out of it. But we had a Barcelona to Rome itinerary, and in Italy, we had a sprinter van take about 12 to 15 guests to an Italian farm. And when they got there, they went truffle hunting with dogs on the local farm. And when the truffle hunting was done, they took them back to their house slash local restaurant, and they did a pasta making class from scratch. And they put the truffles that they just took out of the ground onto the pasta. So very farm to table, very intimate with that local culture.
Yeah.
And then they came back, and that for the price point, right, is in my opinion a great product or something that I would really prefer to do with my wife rather than taking a coach bus with 80 other people to a beach that I live in Fort Lauderdale, so I've seen the beach. I don't need to go to the beach anymore. But you know, it's way more intimate. It's way more what you want to do. If you're going on a trip and you're traveling halfway across the world, why would you do something that you could do at home? You know, you want to do something
Yeah,
that you never get the chance to do.
a new experience. Yeah. Is something like that, so the truffle hunting and the cooking class, is that included or would that be
So we have
extra?
so our excursions are dependent on the itinerary that you pick. So I'll give you an example. If you pick Antarctica, that's a polar expedition. What I mentioned before, that's included. Also, there's a tour of the Tierra del Fuego National Park included. There's also the polar plunge where you jump in the water is included, the expedition landings, and the Zodiac safari rides. That's all included in the park and the vest. Two things that won't be included are going to be kayaking and camping. We offer camping once per voyage on a glacier overnight, and then kayaking as well. And if there is more space, you're able to go as many times as you please. Now, something for the Mediterranean, that is going to, we're always going to include one cultural immersion. You don't know what it is until that season comes out. So, for example, in the Mediterranean, it could be a white party on top of a rooftop hotel in Venice. It could be a orchestra performance somewhere in Turkey by candlelight. Things like that. We set it up for them ahead of time, so that will always be included in their trip. And then the extra excursions, like the one I mentioned, those will be in addition. I don't exactly know what the prices are off the top of my head. I would say what we do ahead of time is before they book their voyage or anything like that, they have months and months in advance, and they're able to see the prices and see the region and each excursion that we offer at each port, and they have ample time to pick those and make sure that they have everything organized before they get there.
What would you say is your most popular experience? Is it the polar expeditions?
Yes. So as of right now, our most popular experiences are going to be the polar expeditions. I would say that that is what our bread and butter would be. We have done them very well for the last 4 to 5 years. We curate a great expedition team every single year. We have a great captain with our ships as well. And these ships really are made for that expedition feel, especially through the Drake Passage as well. I would say that is our most popular, even though we did have a big boom in our Mediterranean sector this year. People seem to enjoy that product a lot. I think that we are kind of gearing into that more luxury sphere and also that luxury product and going into those niche ports, especially when it comes to the Mediterranean. But the Antarctica as well as the Arctic is something that we have done successfully for a good amount of years now, and we will continue to do so.
I was wondering, so I did Iceland and Greenland,
Mhm.
and Greenland was very interesting because originally the itinerary had a lot more port visits, and I learned later that it was the expedition team leader who actually decided to scrap some of the port visits in place, or to do that in place of more expedition cruising in the fjords, which was really cool. So it ended up turning out even more expedition than it was originally intended to be. And that was a lot of fun. So there were days we had like just scenic cruising days where we got to go out on the Zodiac, a landing in the morning and like a Zodiac cruise in the afternoon, or sometimes two landings. So it felt a lot more, not that it kind of felt like Antarctica in that way. Even though we were near people technically, we were still going out on the Zodiacs in the middle of nowhere in these beautiful fjords and just kind of experiencing everything. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so that is, I think, maybe sometimes a misconception or people don't understand when they're first going or researching an expedition cruise is that most of the time, due to the nature of the cruise itself, it's going to be captain's choice, or a lot of it's going to be what the expedition team feels would give the best experience for the guests. So, for example, one time, I believe it was last season in Antarctica, we did venture to a part of Antarctica where we were the first cruise ship ever. After you go to these different places and make expedition landings in Antarctica, you do have to register your landing, and they were the first recorded cruise ship to ever go to that spot. So those people were the first people to ever set foot on that ice in that area of Antarctica, the first recorded people, so off of our cruise ship. So it's a really, everybody says bucket list, everybody says once in a lifetime, but that is truly once in a lifetime, and that is what we're trying to bring to our guests.
And what a unique experience for them to like actually explore somewhere new in
Right.
Antarctica.
Yeah.
How cool. I did have a question about the Epicurean.
hmm
So like if you're in the Mediterranean, are docked or are you going ashore via the Zodiacs or the tender boats?
Both. So it really, with ports, that has less to do with us and more about the rules of which specific port you're going to.
Mhm.
So that is going to be, it's going to be known beforehand, but it's just going to depend on how many cruise ships are going there within that day, how many people are registered, how many people are actually in that port or the space that the port even has. So it's really not about what we choose to do, it's what they will allow us to do. Um, but one thing to that point, the ports themselves, I believe I said it a little bit earlier, when you have these smaller yacht style cruises, you are able to get into ports that bigger cruise ships are getting turned away from. So we do have itineraries that have Nice in there. We do have itineraries that still have Venice in there. We do have itineraries including the Adriatic Sea. A lot of the bigger ships are getting turned away from these ports because they don't want this level of tourism. They don't want these huge surges of people going throughout the city, so, and taking up that space on the port as well. So we still have the availability to do that, and I think that adds into that luxury market, right? You have the luxury product and you want to get into that luxury port. So the ports are very important when it comes to the specific itinerary that your guests choose.
So when you say Venice, do you mean the lagoon, not like Ravenna or Choja, like it's Venice proper that you're
Right,
getting off
correct.
at? Oh, wow. So you don't have to drive, I don't know, half an hour to get actually into Venice itself. Um, you mentioned new itineraries. Is there any, like, is there one that you're really excited to talk about?
Yeah, so we just released our warm water Mediterranean itineraries on August 20th for 2027. And we are releasing our cold water, so Arctic itineraries. We're releasing those. That's going to be, I believe, September 17th. Um, I personally am going on a voyage with my wife October 22nd of this year. So as far as itineraries go that I'm excited about, I would have to say that is probably the number one. We're going from Casablanca to Las Palmas in the Canary Islands. So I'm very excited about that. As far as the new itineraries that we have coming out, I have a couple that I've seen that I'm pretty interested in. We do have a extremely unique itinerary that is going to be July 27th, 2027. We actually just released it yesterday. It's Barcelona to Lisbon, and it is a solar eclipse sailing. So that is a very hot itinerary, very, I believe, unique itinerary. But we do have Nice to Barcelona, we have Athens to Naples, we have Dubrovnik to Venice. So you're getting a little bit of a lot in each itinerary. You have Italy, you have Croatia, you have Greece, you have the places that I mentioned before, a little bit of the smaller ports that you can't get into that you probably haven't been to of those countries that you may have visited before. So I really like our new 2027 itineraries. I think they add a lot of value and a unique perspective to the travel.
Thank you so much for telling us about Atlas and the different kinds of expedition experience you can offer. And we will hopefully see lots of people joining joining Atlas Ocean Voyages in the future.
Yeah, I just want to also say one more thing, that I want people to know, anybody watching this, that you know what we're really trying to bring to the table and get across is that we can still provide you with that expedition product, but in a way more comfortable way than you would be used to. We're going to give you that expedition feeling, that expedition itinerary, but we're also going to give you that luxury feel when you're in your room, when you have your service, when you're eating your food, when you're just going around the yacht in general.
I've heard it described as a Luxpedition, which I think is a cute portmanteau that
Yeah, I
describes the
like that.
experience
I haven't
very
heard
well.
that.
No, it definitely feels like a nice premium, like luxury experience, and you still get to go out on the Zodiacs and explore that way in the cute green parkas and kind of get the best of both worlds, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a little bit about us. That is, about our brand, about the different voyages that we have. We just came out with our 2027 season as well. So if anyone watching this is interested in booking 2026, we are already ready and going on that, and we are just entering that 2027 season. New itineraries, very luxurious ports. We're very excited to bring new clients on as well. And if anyone ever needs anything, Roseborough Travel Agency is a great selection to go with. So thank you guys for giving me the time today.